Hello and welcome to Paw Prints on the Mountain, brought to you by the Humane Society of the White Mountains. I'm your host, Mike Bosley, and we've got several cute little guests on the show today, and we'll get to them, and well, I'm sure you'll hear from them throughout the show, but we'll be with them in just a moment. But first, it's time to go into Mike's Pet Peeve. Now, Mike's Pet Peeve is really just my opinion, not the board's, the Humane Society, or anybody important, so please, no lawsuits. Redundancy up on this mountain, when it comes to internet, is horrible. Nobody ever seems to have any good internet. Now, redundancy when it comes to the English language is very abundant up here in the White Mountains. There's a road sign next to a school here in the White Mountains, and it confuses me. Just as you would see a no smoking sign, a cigarette with a circle and a slash through it, this sign says the words no speeding with a circle and a slash through it. So are they telling me no speeding? Wouldn't the real sign be speeding with a circle and a slash through it? I don't understand why the extra no's there. When I was younger, people used to ask, and I heard it in a steakhouse recently, for an extra well-done steak. There is no such thing, people. You can't go extra white or extra black. White and black are the farthest ends of the spectrum. So is rare and well done. Anything past well done is considered beef jerky. That's about it. The extra well done makes no sense. The last one I cannot, just really blows me, is when people ask about a hot water heater. Who in the heck heats hot water? Wouldn't you just have a water heater or maybe a cold water heater? But having a hot water heater makes zero sense. What also makes zero sense is abandoning animals for no reason. There's so many places that these cute little guys can go to. When I say cute, these two over here just start terrorizing each other. There's so many places that you can drop these off at that are humane ways of going about the process and getting them the love and the happy home that they need. Dropping them off on the side of the road is not the thing to do, and really that ranks you in my book with the person that doesn't return the shopping cart, which in my opinion is the laziest and most self-centered dirty word on the planet. So don't be that guy, and don't abandoning these guys. Well, ladies, would you like to chime in, or your puppies chiming in for you?
Well, I think they speak for themselves at this point.
So tell us about who we have with us. By the way, we have Debbie and Deena. Hello, ladies.
Hello.
Hi.
So tell us about these pups.
So this is Joseph. This is Mary, and that is Noel.
Hi, Noel.
And
Happy New Year, everybody. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. I was actually on vacation when they came in, so Deena, can you tell them how they came in?
I can. They came in the correct way.
That's great.
So the owner had the mother and these three puppies, and they had to move. And where they were moving to said they could have one dog.
Aww.
So they asked us if we could take the puppies, and they were old enough to be away from mama, so we did. But so they were able to tell us what they'd been feeding them, how long they'd been eating, if they'd had any vaccinations, and all that kind of stuff, so that it really helped us to be able to start their care the correct way that they had been cared for. So, and they are very fun dogs. So that's how they came in while Debbie was on vacation. A much deserved one.
Yes.
Thank you.
So, and you know, it's the ones that well, right before that, someone had found little bitty ones. They're in a foster. They'll be coming back, I think, this coming weekend, but they had been in a foster because they were just little, but there were 3 of them and they could only catch 2 running across the highway by the lion's den.
Oh, wow.
And they were little. They make these guys look big. So, you know, and of course, there again, now we have no information on them other than that they're with us. They're perfectly fine, healthy, and secured. So, you know, it is very important. You know, we talked about this last month. It's just so important for your pet to be able to get the proper care. You know, we've had some turned in that are, these are probably the saddest ones, I think, Debbie, and Debbie may agree with me, is the older ones. The ones that are probably at the end of their life, and they're turned in and we're told they found them as a stray.
Right.
Those are the ones that break our hearts.
Yeah.
Because, you know, when we can see that there's absolutely nothing we can do, their quality of life isn't there.
Right.
And they die in the arms of our loving people, not being called what they've been called their whole life. Those are the ones that hurt us the most, I think. And so, you know, we just beg people, please, just be honest. You know, just be honest with us when you bring it in so that we can be as good and loving with the pet, with the name. So, you know, we work day in and day out, see all kinds of things people wouldn't believe that you see up here, you know, and children. And so it's just always, you know, it's just challenging. And some days, you know, there's some really good poems out about rescuers and what I guess we all go through on a daily basis. There's good days, there's bad days, and those moments can change throughout the day, you know, and yet our hearts break over and over again. Sometimes it's a good break because it's some that we've had extra medical and time with,
right?
And then we get them to where they're ready, and they get that forever home. We ought to put these guys on the floor and let them do a little WWF wrestling. Wow, I guess Joseph thinks he's the boss. So those are the ones that...
If you're going to adopt a puppy, adopt one, not three.
But let's remind everyone, not everyone is at their point in life where they want a puppy.
Yes.
You know, and that's why up there we have great selections of all different ages of dogs and cats.
And cats.
Yep, and cats. You know, and some people are young and energetic and have young families. Me personally, I would not have the energy all the time for a puppy in life.
No.
So, and even Debbie, you know, when you deal with them all day at work, you go, no. And everybody wants a puppy. So puppies always get adopted first. So when you come up and visit our shelter, take the time to meet the older ones, the ones that aren't the best looking ones, the ones that really, you know, will give you
the shy ones, the scared ones.
Yeah, and they'll give you nothing but love and wanting to please you the rest of their life.
Right. Show them the loyalty that they used to know.
Exactly.
And they will continue to grow.
Absolutely, you know, and like I've told you guys before, you know, the soul is sometimes the hardest, the soul and the heart is the hardest for us to heal on some of these animals that come into us. And so, but, you know, really it's an amazing team up there, and they just, they just do whatever needs to be done, and it's so rewarding to watch these animals turn around. You know, so starting off this new year, you know, maybe we can even educate more for people to know the proper way to do things, the proper way to turn your pets in, you know, so that we can give them what they deserve.
Well, I think we are going to take a quick break, and these guys are going to get what they deserve, a little wrestling. We may record this for the bloopers during the commercials, but I think we're going to let these guys loose. We will return with less loud puppies here in just a couple moments on Paw Prints on the Mountain. Welcome back to Paw Prints on the Mountain, brought to you by the Humane Society of the White Mountains. I'm your host, Mike Bosley. And joining me is Deena and Debbie. Hello, ladies.
Hi.
So, it's a new year. We got lots of hopes for the Humane Society in general. And we've got a fundraiser right around the corner.
We do. Our no-show furball that happens every year right around Valentine's Day. And that is exactly what it's called. No show furball. So we send out invitations, and there's different denominations of money that people can donate to not show up.
Right.
And so this fundraiser usually will bring our shelter $6,000 to $8,000 in the year.
That's a nice little start. That's a nice little start.
It is
not everything.
Oh gosh, no. But it is a nice start. You know, it's a nice start, but we can never stop.
Right.
And that's the thing, you know, everyone goes, well, they just did a fundraiser. Well, if everyone sat down and put pencil to paper and looked at how much we spend on every animal, you would realize that we need all the fundraisers we can do.
Right.
So, and of course last year, us, along with everyone else, was challenged in our fundraising efforts. So, but you know, our community took care of us. You know, we came out okay thanks to the community.
Absolutely.
You know, and our volunteers
Our
and the efforts that we
volunteers.
did do with the fundraising. So, and who would want a puppy? This is actually the great thing about working out there is you get to love on them, and then somebody else gets to take them home.
Right. Kind
So,
of like
and-
a great aunt or uncle. You just
Yeah, or
love on them, and then grandparent, and then there you are, problem.
You know, so anyway, but that's the start of our fundraising for this year. And then, of course, we're planning Happy Tales, which we'll go into more as the time comes. But people always want to know, when is it? It's August 28th this year. So, and mark that on your calendar now,
Right.
because we're really looking forward to that this year in our traditional way at Charlie Clark's in the Orchards.
Right.
So
We'll see what 2021 holds. We've all got our fingers crossed.
we do.
So that's about all we can do, really.
It is, you know,
And hold a cute puppy.
And you know, everyone just has to continue to keep doing what we're doing and do you know, and do what's best for the people around you. So that's where we're starting our fundraising, is with our Show Furball.
We should have a karaoke contest sometime soon. I
know,
think this
puppies.
one's gonna win. Yes. a karaoke with puppies.
You know, if anyone
could raise
caught
some money
their
with that.
names, though, they're kind of stuck on Christmas carols.
Yes, they are.
You know,
On Noel.
so, and Mary and Joseph.
And I like your singing, but I wouldn't go as far as to call it angelic.
Right. And you know, I just really want to give a big shout out to our volunteers. Everything last year was challenging and different,
man.
and to our new upcoming volunteers that hopefully this year finally feel secured enough to come out and help us and do what they want to do, and which is either help us at our thrift shop, help us in the shelter with these animals, and love on puppies. I mean, because
Fosters.
really, fosters, oh my goodness. You know what, we had amazing fosters last year, and I feel quite sure we're going to need those amazing fosters again this year.
Absolutely.
And you know, this is something for volunteers at the shelter, is socializing puppies. Like right now, we're getting to sit and hold these puppies and you know, deal and handle them and love on them. But out in the real world where we're at work, we don't get that option very often, because there's so many that always need us. We're moving to the next
Right,
one, you know?
right.
So puppies definitely need socialization, and that's a great volunteer job.
Now, and it's very easy to become a volunteer. They get in touch with
Deborah.
and then we have an orientation with the volunteers.
Yep.
And they get explained on how and how not to do things.
Yes.
And that sort of stuff. And then they can dive right in.
Absolutely. And you know what the options are, because there's sometimes that we need help calling out of, say, the want book, you know, for animals that we have come in, and we have what we call our want book. You know, and we have volunteers that will take the time, sit down at a phone and say, hey, you've been looking for a poodle and we have a poodle. Would you like to come and meet it? You know, or making calls out of our lost and found pet book. You know, hey, is your pet still lost? Please keep us updated. You know, we'll keep it in the book for 30 days. And to help with those books, so that we don't have a book that's this thick, because we don't have enough staffing to go through the book all the time.
Well, what amazes me, and this falls on you, Debbie. I mean, it's amazing. You are running a shelter with lots of things going on, and somehow you still find the time when animals come in to get it up on Facebook that they came in, they're lost, and get that out there to the community really quickly. And so I just wanted to praise you on that.
Thank you, and that goes to the girls in the office too. They work really hard on getting that stuff done.
And I know
also.
they have plenty to do
yeah,
as
they do.
well. So big thanks to your staff for putting it out there on Facebook. I love, but it's sad to see, but I love seeing when a post comes up, because then I share it and we see other people share it, and we hopefully find their
Right.
home.
Yes.
Right, right. Like last month, one day on the way home, one of our gals found a little dog, and it turned out the people had called looking for it because it had seizures. So we were able to return that dog before we opened that next morning.
Oh, wow.
And it was safe with us for the night, you know. So, you know, it's things like that, people sharing, people talking about things, and those shared posts really, this last year have helped us return a lot of animals.
Yeah, it did.
So,
Okay, so Christmas carols are over. It's time to start singing love songs, okay?
yes,
We gotta work on
Valentine's
our
Day is right
Valentine's
around
love
the corner. So,
You're
you
still
know,
stuck on Christmas songs.
Mike, and you know, another volunteer source is like you and the rest of our great board members.
Aha, thank you, thank you.
You know, because we need great board members that have like minds where we're taking our shelter.
Right.
You know, to continue our stepping forward with the great things that we do out there.
Right.
You know, and it takes people like you that are willing to give up your time. And you know, we've always got room for another good one or two board members.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Oh, yes,
because it
we
takes
do.
all of you guys working together to get things done.
Oh, yes, yes. The president or one person just doesn't do it all.
No.
No, it's a whole
oh, absolutely
board.
not. It is a group effort, and that's another volunteer opportunity.
Right.
And over at our thrift shop, over at the doghouse, we can't do what we do without our volunteers.
And big shout out, congratulations. Les did a wonderful job with the doghouse despite a lot of hurdles last year.
Yes.
He still managed to just do a wonderful job for the Humane Society in a whole. So
Yeah.
big thanks to you and your staff there, Les.
Yeah. The team over there is really and truly another amazing team. And you know, so that's the other volunteer opportunity when people say it's so sad I can't come to the shelter, you know, but I want to help. Hey, we got jobs,
Right.
you know.
Well, and yes, you mentioned Happy Tails earlier. Another great way is we're going to need some help with Happy Tails this year.
Right.
There's all kinds of events and ways to help and volunteer. Maybe you're a great party planner. Hopefully we're redoing our 51st anniversary party.
That's right.
I mean, there's all
Exactly.
kinds of ways. Whatever your expertise is, there's probably a way that we can utilize it
Absolutely.
at the shelter.
Well, goodness, you got a hairball?
So what else do we have going on for 2021, ladies?
Well, like you say, we're hoping to do our 51st anniversary party and celebrate with our community. You know, the other day I just took a phone call from a lady down in Scottsdale, and she said she has been a member with us for 50 years.
Wow.
You know, and her name was Annie, and she is leaving. Actually, she wanted to know our information because she has to draw out of her IRA every year. Once a year, she's at that age in her life, and she said, I don't need the money and I want to leave it with you guys every year.
Oh.
Oh,
So
that's nice.
yeah, and we have other people that do that. But Annie said, I have been a member for 50 years, and so was my mother and my brother. So, you know, and at the end of the call, I thanked her. I said, hey, thanks for a great 50 years.
Right.
You know?
Well, yeah. She's
Let's
done
do another
so
50.
much.
Yeah, let's do another 50. I won't see 50,
yeah.
but Debbie could. You could. And
I'm a lot older than I look. Thank you.
well, and I think there's a little sibling rivalry
I
happening
think
here.
so.
So these guys are probably getting a little tired and a little warm under the lights and a little loud. So maybe we ought to see about putting them somewhere for a minute.
It really resembles.
It reminds me of my sisters and me.
That's exactly what I was about to say.
Debbie was upset she was an only child. You see what happens
Yeah,
when
not
you have
anymore.
siblings? No.
See, it's safe over here, Noelle.
So
Safe. All right. All right. All right.
you know, Mike, so this year for our fundraising, we're going to start with the no-show. We're going to go on to Arizona Gives, which is huge for us.
Love Arizona Gives.
You know what? You get to really and truly get to see them a lot of the stories of what we have, great catch, of what we have accomplished this last year. You know, you'll see things like, you know, right now we've got some Toulouse. Debbie and I got a call. Toulouse is a cat that we had at PetSense for adoption, and I got a call one night saying that his mouth was bleeding everywhere. So I called Debbie and I said, Deb, I said, what do I got to go get him. What do I do? And she goes, I'll come with you, because Debbie knows a lot of medical. She really does. And I'm not a medical person. I'll do whatever they tell me to do. But so anyway, we went and got him, and he had just couldn't quit tearing up his gums. So you'll hear all about his story during our Arizona Gives fundraiser. And Toulouse actually ended up out with Dr. Helzer. She had to put a feeding tube in him, and he's back at the shelter, but we're still having to teach him to eat again. And it was almost like a chemical burn that had happened to his mouth. And so things like that, she had to do the surgery to put the feeding tube in, and all the extra care. It's all these medical cases that we actually will tell you about in Arizona Gives, and the outcome that the great home they end up in.
And that I did want to touch on this earlier when you said something, but thank you for bringing it back. And once this is just your show there, Debbie. The amazing staff. When I did have my dog over the rainbow, not only did your staff send a card that was gracious, but just the amount of love, and you can tell that it wasn't because it was my dog, that they had this love for all the dogs of the shelter. And so when you were talking about older dogs having to go down not knowing their real name, it is a blessing that really your staff is who they are. Yes. And they do a phenomenal job not knocking down the set, which is what our 3 puppies are trying to do in the back. So, but
you can see they need a job. You know what, Mike, you're right. And all too often, Debbie and her staff, I mean, I can never tell people enough how proud I am of them and the love that they give these animals.
You know, they're not even listening to us. They're just having the camera follow the dogs.
Yes.
We're just
It's kind of hard to beat them because
really
they are adorable down here running. But Debbie's got an amazing staff. Les and his crew over at our doghouse have an amazing staff, and our paws people are just, you know, we really and truly, our shelter, and I'm going to just throw it out there, anyone can not like the word, but we are blessed.
Very well.
These animals are blessed to have the people that we have there caring for them.
No, and Doc Hauser does a lot for the shelter, and at friendly, humane prices.
Yes, very.
And she always takes care of us. It's amazing what she does, and so big thanks to her for all the years she's done.
Yeah, and you know, another thing that we just got the end of this last year was we got another grant from the Arizona license plate.
That's right.
So we got a $7,500 grant to use for, you know, the end of 2020 and into 2021. So with that being said, you know, we can never promise the money's still left when you make your appointment, but if it is, it would be $35 to alter a dog and $25 for a cat, and then the grant pays the rest of that.
Now, was there a number somewhere I saw that said how many you were able to help this last year with the $10,000?
There was. Do you remember what that number was?
It was like 256 for some reason.
I want to say you're right, and that's.
I didn't know if I was making that up or if I saw
No, I think it was something like that. And Mike, that's
a lot of help.
But yes, and that's for the community. That's not for the shelter animals.
Right.
You know, so you know, the community helps us, and we try to help them back in every way we can. You know, we've helped a lot of people this last year with our Kibbles food program.
Yes.
And you know, that is something that, you know, we just want to be able to help our community, especially the ones that want to keep their pets and need a little help for temporary and stuff. Well,
really, in the long run, you know, it's easier to help somebody out with a bag of dog food than it is to actually have to bring that animal into the shelter, take up space, take up more time, more work, when really all it is almost costing a dog a bag of dog food. I'm so cute, overwhelmed. They're still running around here somewhere.
I know. We've got a pet sitter on board.
No, nice.
So you're right, Mike. And we've done this kibble program for, gosh, Debbie, how long?
It's been since I started.
And you've been there. Actually, Debbie's been with us 13 years now.
Wow.
So, and I've watched Debbie, because I've been there, it'll be 13 years in a couple of months. I've watched Debbie go from being a young lady and be a kennel tech and everything else to knowing everything about that shelter. you know, and grown into quite an amazing lady.
Thank you.
That really, we are really so fortunate and blessed to have. And so, you know, that being said, we've got a lot of knowledge with our staff that's at the shelter.
We got Ben-Hur going on around here.
We do. Those are herding dogs.
Yes, they are.
So, they should be tired out here all the way back to the shelter.
Right, just enough for a quiet ride back to the shelter.
So, you know, with things like this, and of course we should be able to have our members meeting this June also.
Right.
And then, like I said, we're going to start. We've started on Happy Tales. And all we're going to do is we're going to continue to plan and move forward, and just take it. If something happens, it happens. But you know what? I really feel secure living in our community that our shelter will be just fine.
I do too. I have a lot to look forward. We have a lot to look forward. A lot of hopes here in the next year of 2021, and we hope that you will continue joining us. If you're watching this on your YouTube channel, share it, whatever. We'd love to have your comments or whatever. And we're going to close the last seconds of the show watching puppies. Why not? We'll see you next time, everybody. Have a good day.